just before I get into any of this, I'm going to message Andrew, see how he is with the sun at his end, so we can show this again. Let's see here. In fact, just bear with me a wee second here. I'm trying to set up a wee quick call with Andrew Excrete 200, who is in New Zealand, who has the sun right now, I think, same as us. Hope yous are well. Let me just see here. How's it going, people? Tony Smith, Boom Me, Thomas McBrearty, Pied Piper, Havoc, Eekmach Durk, good evening. Neil McRobb, Kevin Balfour, John McLaughlin, Comment, Or Without Curve, Matthew Smith, Sam the Man, Nikon, how yous all doing? How are we all? I'll come back to the chat and see who else is here in a minute. I'm just waiting to see if Andrew gets back to me here. He may have fallen asleep. I think there might be a problem here anyway. It's difficult for me to show the hangout on here so that we can see the footage from Andrew live at the same time here. We'll give it a wee minute and we'll see what's happening. How are all you people? Enjoying the weather? I just watched a wee video there. Goomba, hello Shorty. I was just watching a wee video there, how to prepare for extreme weather. I had said that to Emma. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, he's here. Right, hang on. Let me see what happens here. You there, mate? You there, Andrew? I'm not getting any sound, bud.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be about half an hour.
Right, okay, mate. If you want to just give me a wee ping and let me know if you...
I'll give you a bell, mate.
Alright, bud.
Sweet.
Alright.
Okay, later, Joe.
Right. It's not another half an hour till Andrew gets up there. I'm just going to read this email out. I'd noticed that I had emails in my spam folder. So I think I'll just start here with this email. This is from a person called CID Guy. Hi Dale, I originally sent this to the wrong address. Before you read, understand that this is just another shot in the dark. A guess of what is, but I always try to shoot as much as I can into the dark in efforts to possibly hit the mark. Check out where this shot lands. Please read the below message and let me know what you think. Time is taught as linear. However, it's a constant and ever-changing moment. It does not begin or end, it just changes. We are the product of reality perceiving this reality. Reality pushes us out and pulls us back in. If energy cannot be created or destroyed but only transformed, this means that energy doesn't have a beginning and will not have an ending. Time, reality and energy is all the same. It's a constant, never-changing, eternal moment. If your time is limited in any way, being in the midst of eternity, you being in the here and now is one out of infinite one out of infinity. It is impossible for your time, reality, energy to be temporary. It's more likely you have always been and always will be. What more would a single eternal being want than the perception of you? The perception of a beginning and ending, others, stuff, space, change, questions and answers. Answers creating more questions, it goes on and on. I'm talking to myself here because I believe we are all the one reality. If so, all actions are justified as all actions are done to itself, reality's self. Just another belief to contradict my other beliefs, just another shot in the dark hoping to hit the mark. Take care, Dale. Well, for me, I mean, again, we can only talk about these things in a kind of philosophical sense. It's this is, you know, why I've titled this again this evening, about being in a cult, being born into a cult, because the real situation, the real reality is, and it's so difficult for people just to accept and for people to grasp. Again, you know, by saying this, it doesn't mean that we can never have any sort of progress. You know, I'll get to the progress aspect and the possibilities or lack of possibility, whatever. The reality is that nobody, no human being that I know of, knows the true extent of our existence, where we are, how it came to be, why it came to be, its purpose, or any of that stuff. So, you know, it always comes back to, you know, when I'm communicating with another human being, are they really there? Because for me, see, if you're really there, you're here in the moment, and in that moment you have clarity. And I don't mean clarity as in you have answers. Clarity is realising that you have no answer. Right there and then, a journey could possibly begin, where progress could be gained in regards to us as a larger, you know, populace, getting closer to a comprehension of where we are, why we're here, how we came to be. But without the realisation that you don't know, you're never going to get anywhere. The whole world at large right now exists in a massive cult. You hear about cults like small pockets within the main cult, you know, Scientology or, you know, Catholicism or whatever. You know, there's subdivisions of the main cult. So it's a bit like the movie Inception, where people take themselves further and further into layers of delusion and embrace those delusions and accept those delusions as being, you know, rooted in some fundamental objective truth of their being and their existence. The reality is that nobody knows. And for me, you know, I'm generalising and I know that, but the whole populace of the world right now exists in a cult. And there's offshoots of that cult, different layers. We have the globe aspect, which, you know, robs you and blinds you to a proper grounding and foundation for you to then progress in a reasoned manner of trying to comprehend your reality, your existence. That's just one layer. There's many layers. You know, who you think you are, what you think your personal identity is, your self-identity, the things you partake in, what do they mean to you, your hobbies, your relationships, your career, any facet of what you're experiencing right now. What is it you tell yourself? Are you just on autopilot, spontaneously moving from one point to the next, experiencing what you experience? Again, I'm not going to say to you that's not the way to be. But when it's couched in the questions of our existence, the existential questions, then anything that anybody's offering up and anything that I have seen so far is pure delusion. So we're in a cult of bewildered ignorance that seems to be overlooked and embraced There seems to be something deep rooted in the psyche of human beings where if they can formulate a bias and they can find some semblance of something in the world that reaffirms that bias, they grasp onto it because it gives them a feeling of certainty. They feel secure, thinking that they've got a solid ground, a solid foundation that they're standing upon. And the reality is totally the opposite. It gives you no foundation, it gives you no grounding. Again, I'm still conflicted in myself about whether we should ever even be contemplating these questions, and that maybe that's the issue. Maybe the issue is that because of rigid control and structure being put in place, it has caused a schism within us to the point that we're having to analyse and reason with our own being, rather than just being the way you were when you were a child and spontaneously living from one moment to the next. Just as was put in the email there, that's exactly what I've always spoke out in regards to. You know, we're part of something infinite, something eternal. When we talk about time, you know, again, time is just another one of these constructs of man, where we have created clocks in reference to the sun and the moon and, you know, the system of this machine, right? But in the bigger picture, there can be no time. We tie everything into this finite beginning and end. Now, maybe in the greater scheme of things, there is beginnings and ends, like, you know, in this life you go to the cinema. The time at the cinema begins, the time at the cinema ends, but it's within a bigger picture, it's within the bigger scope of your life. So I'm talking about it in that sense, that this is the trip to the movies. And we perceive and we have this perception of beginning and end. But for me, the reality must be, you know, so far removed from that. There is no way for me to reason my way to accepting, you know, that anything came from nothing, and that it has a beginning point and an end point. So when nothing creates something that begins, and then that something ends at nothing again. I mean, these types of philosophies and this type of thinking is absolutely preposterous. This is all couched under the philosophical category of materialistic reductionism, which is what the mainstream scientific community has been pushing. That is their premise that they build everything upon, that there only is the material world, and that they must be able to reduce everything to material function, right? So this is why we end up with notions of consciousness as an illusion and you know, all this quantum gibberish, trying to, you know, mathematically define what our reality is that came from nothing and nowhere. So they come up with these never-ending cycles of gobbledygook and, you know, utter hogwash, total and utter lunacy. The problem is that, you know, mathematicians and these kind of philosophers are going to go that route because the infinite and the eternal is unfathomable to us. I can have the realisation that that's what I'm part of, and I can say it in words, and I can kind of perceive it in my mind, but the details of it, what it is, what it looks like, you know, how it functions, none of that is going to be known. But from my position here in this experience, I can make that realisation. And again, I'm only using reasoning, but my reasoning is based on what I can experience as a human being at this level. Things from nothing and all this gobbledygook means nothing. It's rubbish to me. Nothing in our lives ever shows any of that stuff. So the mainstream scientific community is couched in its own cult. Again, another subdivision where it's trying to offer up these existential storylines under the guise of it being science. And again, science to me is about exploration, living in the moment, experiencing reality from one moment to the next, you know, adapting and playing with the physical substances in the objective world to see how we progress. That's true scientific progress for me. All this other stuff of who we are and how we came to be and where we're going, that's all religion. You have to be aware that there's a real power to that, which is why it is utilised and pushed so much. Because they know human beings are at some point going to start asking the questions of what it means to exist, what it means to be a human being. Now again, you could go conspiratorial and say that's been done deliberately. And it's been done deliberately because it offers up methods of control. It puts people in a weakened state, puts them in bewilderment, fear, anxiety for the majority. It also breeds a kind of nihilistic, narcissistic, selfish attitude, which erodes any semblance of community, family, belonging, companionship, because it's founded upon fake rubbish. So there's a real power to that, and again, you don't need to be conspiratorial and say it's been done deliberately, but there is going to be a knock-on effect of pushing these types of ideas, because these types of ideas onto the minds of bewildered, lost human beings who don't know anything about their existence can become a very powerful thing. It can start to, be adopted. We can start to paint on the canvas based on these simple ideas, where we accept the abominations that we see in front of us in the world today. Right off the bat, war. I mean, why would anybody accept any of these things? There seems to be, we're all part of this infinite, this eternal, but there seems to be a push to have us, one part of the spectrum of the infinite and eternal dominate other parts of the spectrum. And that's, a recipe for disaster, because it's perpetual, it's never going to end. For me, people should start to put their focus on, how can I learn to accept the spectrum of the infinite and eternal? How can I, walk my walk and place myself within that and accept it as it is, without having to try and dominate or control or shut down any other aspect of it? Because as soon as you try and shut down or control one aspect of it, there's going to be another aspect of the spectrum coming up behind you wanting to do the exact same thing to you. And that's what we're living in right now. It's a perpetual, one thing eating the tail of another thing, trying to dominate and control. And again, these things are happening when we don't even have the base foundational knowledge of where we are or why we're here, how the fuck it came to be. We'd have none of these things. So when you hear the talks of cults and this, that and the other, the whole world and everybody that's a part of this world, this area right now, are deeply entrenched in a cult. So, I mean, for me, the email there, I side with a lot of what's been stated, and that time is only the perception that we have of this machine, night and day, the movement of the sun and the moon. There is no beginning, there is no end. There's a perception of that based on your life experience. You're born and you die, and you have this part in between. So you have this illusion of finite. But again, in the bigger grand scheme of it, there's absolutely no way that that's possible. So again, correct, you've always existed and you always will have. Whether or no you're going to be conscious and be conscious like you are now as the human being is a whole other discussion. But the fact of the matter remains, your whole life experience and every facet of your life experience and being always has existed and always will. You're just within it right now, having that direct experience of it. Anyhow, forget where I was going. Right. I've been saying this a few times. I think it was Sandra P900 Cool Pics had sent me the same, and I apologise, Sandra, I'll never get back to you either. In regards to these documents relating to a permanent lockdown in the UK. I've read some of these documents. Again, I'm not going to jump to any assertions about what's going to happen. I've made my statements on what I think is going to go down. I think we're in for a bit of a shitstorm, but it's all been propagated to give us this illusion that a better change is going to happen and that you're going to benefit out of this and that life's going to get better, and it probably will. Because as long as you remain within the confines of cult thinking, delusional, ignorant thinking, selfish thinking, then that's all that really matters. The real threat here is that we unite under the banner of exploration, that we don't accept any ideologies, whether that be, you know, we're a working species, we work for a living, or whether we're in God's kingdom and God wants us to behave like this, and or whatever your preferred ideology is. As long as you're in there, it's of no threat. The real progress will be had when we let go of these things and we stand on the grounds of accepting that we know fuck all, and that we're not going to accept narratives, stories, ideas. We're going to formulate a method to have objective inquiry that's laid out there in the public, and we comprehend the use of language, we comprehend the use of sophistry, we comprehend the use of fallacious reasoning, you know, all these things. Once we can get these things established, then we might start to see some real proper progress. But right now you're getting the perpetual, you know, division, you know, even in this globe earth, flat earth, and this political party versus this political party, and oh, where's the good guys and where's the bad guys, and everybody's vying and looking, you know, outward, expecting some revelations or some change to happen from the systems that we have in place, the cult ways that we've become habituated to. You expect that something's going to change or something's going to materialise. I guarantee you it's no. You're going to be perpetually entrenched, going round and round in circles. And you might have moments where it feels good and it's all good and I'm happy and I'm content, and then eventually it's going to come back and bite in the arse. Maybe not in your generation, maybe in another generation, 5 generations down the line, it's going to continue to happen until we learn and realise that we know fuck all, and that we should stop enveloping ourselves with these desires, the desires of these ideas that are offered to us that usurp our time, usurp our attention. For me, on the only focus of anybody's attention right now should be, we don't know what the fuck's going on here. We don't know where we are. We don't know why we're here. What's expected of us, if anything's expected of us. We're just trying to make the most of what we can from day to day, and looking for some self-indulgence to pacify ourselves to get to the next day. And then what? You die. So you pacified yourself until you fucking die. What a great achievement. But I'm spiritually woke. I'm spiritually woke because I talk about pineal glands and go to fucking non-entities, and or I'm a devout Christian. I read the Bible devoutly, and I understand what's happening, and I know what the reality is and what God wants and all this stuff. Again, if that's your preference, that's your subjective preference, remember that. It's not the answers. And if you keep employing that, then for me you're perpetuating this state of the human being. I'm fucking sick and tired of it. I have been for a long time. I'm not scared. I'm not in depression or whatever, because I can make the realisation and that I can stand on that ground. And I can defend that ground because nobody can touch that ground. It's untouchable because it's the truth. Anybody else that comes to me telling me they've got the answers, they're on shaky ground. They're insecure. They're in a weakened position. So it's up to you. Do you want to be standing in the weakened position, or do you want to be standing in the strong position, the true position? And if we can get that attitude to spread, then for me we would have real progress. But the problem is it's not for everybody. I wish it could be. I wish I could just snap my fingers and snap everybody out of this hypnotic trance that they're in right now. But it's not as easy as that, is it? So the only thing I can do is keep talking about it. And keep talking and interact with people. And it gets more and more and increasingly difficult to interact and speak to people when you really become aware of the true situation that we are in. What are you engaging in with people? Mindless idle chit chat. Self-indulgent fucking fusey rubbish of belonging, pseudo-belonging and pseudo-relations. And again, if you can satisfy yourself with substitutes, with falsities, that's up to you. I think it's going to pollute your mind and pollute your whole being and keep you confused. You're never going to have clarity. And you can ram the spiritual talk right up your fucking ass, because none of these people have got the answers. None of them. And all the shite that they spout, you know, either perpetuates everything I've just highlighted, right, or deludes you into thinking that you're part of some transcendental fucking spiritual woo-woo gobbledygook that means fuck all either. But it makes you feel good, makes you feel powerful, makes you feel in control of your life. Is that a wee bit too serious for you? Is that a wee bit too deep? Certainly, Magumba, we accept the reality of the world with which we are presented. As I say, you can take that at the level of, you know, oh, this is the world, it's a globe. Or you can take it at the level of, you know, what it means to be part of your social grouping and what's expected of you in your particular culture. You know, this is what we do, we work and we perform for industry and this is life and we work hard and we save our pennies and we get pensions and we... Again, that's just a world in what you're presented with, and people accept it blindly because they look round about them and their peers, their family members are all participating in it with confidence and gusto, assured walk. So therefore, I need to do that too, because that's the way the world is. It's just a cult, just an idea, means fuck all. Not deep enough there, I'll think deeper. Fuck's sake, if I go any deeper I'll be fucking sniffing my own internal organs. You know what I mean? I'll be swimming in my own shite if I go any deeper than that. Can you get any deeper? I don't know. I seen that, I think there was something happening in Glasgow today as well. None of the media's covering any of it right enough. Usual. But I'm always sceptical of what these things are about and what's ever going to come of it. Again, it's just encouraging people to fight for another way of life, another idea, another concept of being. You know, because they're still under this guise of potato rocks, infinite vacuums, and we're isolated on this, so we need to come up with ideas to fill our times. And you know, if they just made the realisation that that's nowhere there, and that there's a possibility of a much larger comprehension of what we're a part of, but they don't see that. They're all out there fighting for justice and get these corrupt politicians to fucking me. Then what? Then what? What's your new system going to be like? What is your new cult going to consist of? Because that's all that you're going to get, a new cult. But it's fresh, it's new, it's exciting, it's a new cult. Knock yourself out. I'm still going to be sitting here going, you cunts do not have a fucking clue what's actually going on here. Neither do I. I'm just not that deluded that I would delude myself into thinking that I do have a clue. Well, there is that, travelling commando. Aye, well said, Steve HV, exactly. Beyond belief. It's, you know, everything's infiltrated. As long as you're not sitting in this position, I mean, this is the threat. The threat to all cults, all ideologies, is what I'm talking about right now, because they don't have any power when people accept and make the realisation of the real truth of our situation and have the discipline to stand in that truth without being swayed. What about the jab, Dale? What about the jabs? Hello, FPV Angel. Again, exactly. Individual discernment and empowerment is a real issue for them. You don't need approval from others, of course. Again, this is the problem with people. They're always looking to belong, they're always looking to follow the flock. See what's acceptable within the flock. What is the flock teaching? Exactly, FPV Angel. Everything I've ever stood for. I see the whole game. I always say it, you know, the words I use is, as long as we don't question the room. The room is the construct, the machine that we call reality. Maybe that's the thing though, as I mentioned earlier. Maybe we don't want to really realise the true extent of what we're a part of here. Maybe we're in a necessary state. Maybe we couldn't comprehend or accept or, you know, emotionally and psychologically cope with the real truth. Again, I've always had that battle. Being a child, I lived in the moment. I expressed myself fully from one moment to the next. I still had a sense internally of right and wrong. I didn't need anybody to educate me or teach me on that. My interactions with other people, you know, I would learn that if I never had it anyway. But I struggle sometimes to think maybe, you know, we should just be perpetually living in the moment. Maybe it's this virus of subjective projection that, you know, born out of insecurity that seeks to try and dominate and control other aspects of the spectrum, that has caused this sort of schism because it's become so unbalanced. True free expression rarely exists anymore. It's all predictively programmed, coerced. We'll get structures in place that don't sit true. You know, even as a child, simple things like the structure of education. Wee Belle's been trained like a fucking dog. A wee bell to get you up in the morning. A wee bell to tell you when you have to start. A wee bell to tell you when you can go to the toilet and when you can eat. A wee bell to tell you when you can go home. This is all, mind training to get you into a level of acceptance. Now, for me as a child, I realised there was something really wrong with that. Coupled with the emotional instability and psychological instability of the adults around me, sends you into an area of contemplation where you're having to analyse things, because you're not being allowed, you're not being encouraged and nurtured to just be that, moment to moment free expression. You're having to deal with structures, ideas, things that are not true to you or natural to you. You're trying to instill them within yourself because it's the pressure that's being put to you. So it pushes you into an avenue of having to contemplate them. Whereas if you take all that away, if you eradicate the projection of subjective over, being allowed to flourish and try and influence the whole, you take away these rigid, unnatural structures, then would I even be sitting here contemplating my own existence? Maybe I would ask the questions and contemplate my own existence to a certain extent, but not to this extent. Then I play with other ideas that we're all born narcissistic. Maybe there's a lesson to be had here. Maybe that lesson is to rein that in and to realise, or maybe it's not. Maybe you're just supposed to be the true natural expressions of pure narcissism, pure me, and fuck everything else. Maybe that's the way to be. Again, I don't know. Just like everybody else, I'm within this, trying to make sense of it and second guess and question every facet of what I perceive, what I hold internally. Never to box myself in and deluding myself into thinking that I have found the answer or the answers. Can you even relate to what I'm talking about right now? Is there any people that are actually here in that position? I'm sure there is a few of you there. I often wonder, do people actually perceive things the way I perceive them at this kind of level? Not that I'm saying that I'm at a level above or below anybody, I don't mean it like that. I just mean, this level of awareness of the situation. Again, you can come and reason with me all you like. If you think I'm wrong, fine. But I guarantee you I'm going to tear you apart as soon as you come in here and try and offer me your subjective narratives of who you think we are and where you think we are, because it's just belief systems. Delusional belief systems. Substitutes for the real truth, which is you don't fucking know. And if you do grasp it, if you comprehend what I'm talking about right now, how do you feel about it? Are you scared? I've never felt fear in regards to any of this. Not once. Admitting to not knowing is the start of wisdom, and again you have to break that up. When we talk about knowing, again I'm talking in reference to the bigger questions. I'm not talking in reference to, well, I know that if I take that material and I put a flame to it, I'm going to create a bigger flame. I'm not talking about the you know, the physical aspects of the world that we're within, you know, the cause and effect relationships, and I'm not talking about that. What's that, Tony Woodcombe? Sorry, because it's out of context now. I'm not really sure on what you're relating that to. You ask yourself the same about the control system. What is it you're asking yourself about the control system? Cynthia, it's about the whole world as a cult. The reality of our situation as human beings is we do not know where we are, why we're here, how we came to be, the purpose of our existence, if any sort of purpose. So when we don't have the answer to these things, any other thing that people are partaking in right now is cult behaviour, substitutes. But I like going to the shops, and I like this, and but I like, but that's subjectivity. That's just your subjective, you know, relations to certain things where you get a kick out of it, or a satisfaction, or a moment of satisfaction. Again, I'm connecting these things to the bigger fundamental questions: who we are, where we are, how we came to be, and how do these things answer any of these questions? And what you start to realise is that they don't. And then you can see a separation there where you can actually identify, you know, the psychological traps of these ideas, as I said earlier on, whether it be your self-identity, your career, your hobbies, your relationships, all these things that you partake in from day to day. You know, there are people with amnesia. I often wonder, did we have a true chronological history where we had a direct tie to the inception of this fucking machine? You know, the beginning point. Does that exist? Where does it exist? Who's holding on to that knowledge? Because for me, every avenue I've looked at, I just see rubbish. I see rabbit holes of confusion. So maybe the true chronology, the true sequence of events in our entire history exists, and some people may have access to that, other beings, other entities, who knows? All I know right now is that the globe has been pushed as a holding pen. And I've explained this before. It's a holding pen because human beings, if they see a perimeter, if they see any sort of fencing in or boundary or barrier, we have that natural instinct to want to progress beyond it, to explore further, because we're nosy fuckers. We are curious. We don't like the feeling of being boxed in and controlled. So in order to throw us off the scent of that, the globe works perfectly, because it's your whole world, and it's a finite area that you're just going to go round and round in circles in and never go anywhere, and any other possible exploration to anywhere else is billions of miles away. And you've got to look at that again, for me, deliberate. Because it just deflates the explorer right there and then. Billions of miles away is never attainable. Never mind what all these institutions are telling you with their space rockets and the vacuum of space. It's pish. Do you think a fucking gas guzzling fireworks actually going billions of miles away to other planetoids? Get a fucking grip. Honestly. Anybody that's out there that still believes in that fucking hogwash, you really need to give yourself a shake. It's so deeply entrenched in you because of the fucking TV and your education system. You don't live on a fucking planetoid space ball with other space balls zipping about. Listen to the pish they tell you. Oh, it's an infinitely dense singularity that expanded. It was just all gas in a vacuum. And the gas magically came back together and compressed to form space balls. And then the space balls all spun them around each other, and then life happened and all this. It's fantastical hogwash. These people that spout that stuff try and slag other religions for how childlike and ridiculous they are, when these people stand on the most absurd, ridiculous religious fucking bias I've ever witnessed, and anybody probably will ever witness. It is so far beyond absurd, it's fucking unbelievable. But it works. Because it's a psychological constraint and a physical constraint. Oh, there's only a finite area and there's nowhere to go and we've discovered it all. But there's an outlet for your frustration, because we've got these institutions with gas-guzzling fireworks who are endeavouring to explore the outer regions. So in the subconscious of the true explorer, that's satisfied because an avenue is being explored. So it relieves the feeling of isolation and being contained within a finite area. And again, I've postulated that before. Maybe that's more appealing because the true reality is that we are in a finite area. It's just not a globe. It's a machine. It's a contained mechanistic machine. And they may be worried about how that would affect the psyche of people. How would people really cope with that? Knowing that you're in some isolated, constructed thing. So again, I'm open to any possibility. I'm not one of these people that just jumps and says it's bad people and nefarious reasons. It might not be nefarious reasons. It might be happening through, malevolent reasons. Or benevolent reasons, I should say. People thinking they're doing the right thing. Anything's possible. But here's the thing. I'm talking about this stuff and I'm saying it in quite a serious manner, but it actually makes me laugh. And I get quite excited inside about it, and I do feel freer because I'm not being constricted by the ideas that have been offered to me. I remember that feeling of feeling, really isolated when I was walking the walk of atheistic reasoning and Big Bang fucking nonsense, and it just, it never satisfied me. People are coming here saying I'm talking endless pish while they watch me. See if there's something that I don't like, or something I think, in my personal subjective opinion is total shit. What would you think of me if I sat there week in, week out watching it? I'm obviously a contradicted fucking liar. There's so many of these idiots, these organised groups of trolling are so retarded, right? Because what they've got employees who are dim-witted, thick as fuck morons, right, that come and spout that stuff, that have no reasoning ability. All you have to do is contemplate what these fucking idiots are actually saying and realise how fucking weak and pathetic they are. I don't like watching many things. I think there's a lot of things out there that are utter shite. I don't consume my time watching them. You're a living legend, Dale. Thank you very much. Do you think so? I'm no leg end, maybe. But again, that's the problem with the virus patterns of thinking. making idols and projecting people up there as like legends or this, that and the other. I'm no, and I never want to be, and neither should any of you, and none of you should ever want to contribute to any of that. Again, you should realise the effect of that and its destructive power. I've told you the story before, a very wise little tale, I can't remember who told me it, of the Inuits and the person going to visit them and being taken out on a fishing trip, and that person never caught any fish, but when he went back to his cabin or igloo or whatever the fuck it was, there was a fish there, and that Western person with his virtue signalling fucking rubbish runs out to the other Inuits to thank the person that gave them the fish, to praise them and laud them, and he was met by the elder who says, no, we don't partake in any of that, because I don't catch fish today, you catch fish today, we all eat. Tomorrow you don't catch fish, I catch fish, we all eat. And that's the attitude for me that we should be having. As soon as we start trying to elevate one above the other, back to the spectrum again, the spectrum is part of the infinite and the eternal. You cannot usurp one part of it with another part. It doesn't work like that. All the things that you think are good or evil, or all this stuff that's going on in the world, you know, again, even to religious people who talk about their infinite and eternal gods and whatever, then you must comprehend that all this is part of the same thing. So it's no a game of you trying to shut down and control any other aspect of it. The best method for me that I would offer to use is that the best thing for you to do is to comprehend it, to understand it, understand its workings. More importantly, just understand your own workings and be content and secure in your own internal workings, your own self-identity, and become secure in that. Then it shouldn't really matter what's happening out there. Exactly where we're without curve. We only experience the eternal through endless exploration. And that's it. That's what sits nice with me. I don't want to be isolated and confined into wee certainties of spiritual woo-woo rubbish. I like knowing that I'm part of the infinite and the eternal, and that it's going to go on infinitely and eternally. And there's no limit to experience and possibility. Remember that as a child, that was in you inherently. Where you had desire and impulse and want for specific things, and then once you had it and attained it and achieved it, you moved to the next. You never thought you had completed anything, or that was it, life was over and you figured the whole thing out. Your true instinct, your true nature is to progress and move from each moment of now to the next moment of now, and perpetually travel. Why would you not want that? Why would you want some idiotic concept of certainty, finite certainty? What is wrong with you? I'll tell you what's wrong with you. You're insecure and scared. Otto Matthew, I'll answer it for you right now. In that question that you're asking, there's an assumption there that you're lacing to people like me. You're asserting that everybody would have to be in the lie. That's your assertion. This is what, again, people don't even understand or comprehend their own, reasoning or faulty reasoning, or the language that they're using. How would the entire science community be in on the lie? Who said that? That's in his question. In his question tells you that in his mind, or her mind, everybody must be in on a lie. That's your problem. You need to answer that. That's your idiotic reasoning. That's your limited scope of perception and reasoning ability. Your problem. I don't assert that everybody needs to be in on a lie. When I believed I lived in a globe and I was spouting all this atheistic materialistic reductionism, left, right and centre to people, I wasn't lying. I wasn't telling lies. I was just deluded. So, give yourself a shake and stop asking idiotic fucking questions and realise that in your questions are telling you something about your own internal workings. Maybe you're listening to propaganda. Maybe you're listening to mantras from fucking gurus of globe earth cult. Oh, the earth must be a globe because everybody would be lying. Therefore, earth's a globe. What a complete and utter spastic. It's cunts like you that give me massive doubts about the human capabilities when there's fucking absolute mongs like you running about the place asking idiotic, stupid fucking questions. Get a grip. You're not equipped to be here. Toddle off and listen to Simon Dan or some other fucking moronic cretin. I just don't see the benefit of lying about this. Okie dokie. Brilliant. Your wee 15 minutes of fucking attention is over now. Cunty flaps. You're no worth me pissing on. Sorry. From now on you shall be ignored. Until you raise your game. And come with some sort of semblance of fucking intelligence. Exactly, Shelley. People need their wee hands held. I'm just too dafty. I'm a stick of shit. I'm going to ask stupid questions. Can you help me? No, we're too long in the tooth for all that fucking shite here, son. You're in the wrong place. Exactly. Said this before. You're a conspiracy theorist. What does that actually mean? Conspiracy. This is like, you know, propaganda. Loaded terms that give perceptions in people's minds. Conspiracy theorists. One question you need to ask yourself. Do human beings have the capabilities to lie? Yes. Right. So what you talking about conspiracy theorists for? Human beings lie. Human beings get things wrong. End of fucking story. That's no where we should be going. We're trying to reason or way to an understanding. What we have to look at is the content of any aspect and analyse the content. What's it founded upon? What assumptions are being made? What reasoning processes are being applied to this? And then we discuss it. We look for contradictions. We look for fallacious reasoning. And we discuss that with each other so that we can put things out on the table and say, I can identify that there's a problem here. Jordan Davies. The body is a vehicle, just like your car is a vehicle. You're in control of the car, just like you're in control of your body. I hope you understand. Is that right, Jordan Davies? What I want you to do for me right now then is restrict the blood flow to your brain. What I want you to do is to get in touch with your thyroid glands and slow the whole rate right down. I want you to reduce your heart rate. I want you to focus in on processing the foods that you consume in your body. Because I guarantee you, Jordan, you're not in control of any of that. So I would stop spouting that rubbish. Because it's not the truth. I don't control any of the processes of the body. The only thing that I can control is aspects of the mind. And even at that, I would limit that down to say the only thing I'm really in control of is being able to say no to any impulse that comes my way. So to say you're in control of the body, even when you drive a car, the only thing you're in control of is its momentum and the direction of it. You're not controlling the flow, the fuel rate flow, the timing of the spark plugs, the compression of the combustion engine. You're not in control of any of that. So when we look at the human body, there has to be a separation. The human body as a material, organic mechanism has certain programs and functions that does not require your volition, your consciousness, your will. It regulates itself. So what's controlling that? Because it's not you. Well, that's what I'm saying, Jordan. Of course, there's aspects where I can interact with the machine and I can direct it to move in certain ways, just like the car. I'm using your analogy. I can get in my car and I can take control of it like my arms, steering wheel. I can direct it, I can make it go faster, backwards, forwards, up, down, faster, slower. I can control all these things. But there's certain processes that I'm not in control of. And you have to be able to accept that. Right now, you're not controlling the heart rate. You're not controlling the body temperature. You're not controlling the processes of the intake of fuel. You're not controlling any of that. I'm not getting on at you, Jordan. I'm not having an attack on you. I'm just passionate about these things. So the way I'm conveying it, you might feel as if I'm attacking it. But I'm not. I'm just saying, look, these mantras that are pumped out there are detrimental. Because it doesn't give us a deeper comprehension of what's actually going on here. For me, there has to be a separation. What am I actually in control of? For me, I would go along the lines of some form of dualistic type thing. That there's a merging here. If we want to invoke a soul, then there's a merging of what you identify as you, the soul, the I, whatever, and the material, organic machine that you occupy right now. It's been programmed from somewhere else. It's nothing to do with your volition, your consciousness. When you go to sleep at night and your consciousness is gone, the body still functions, still pumps blood, or blood still flows, I should say. Temperature regulation is still happening. Intake processes are still happening. Oh, have no fear, what a laugh. I should have done a wee hangout. Jeff Bezos and fucking Wally Funk. The most shitty actors I have ever seen in my life. Again, I don't really focus too much on the fucking cartoonery that is the firework and floating about in space. I always like to pay attention to like the post activities, so the post flight interviews, because there you can really tell what's going on with these people. And just like the Richard Branson one where he was anxious and nervous and worried, it was the same with these fucking cretins. Now again, when I interact with genuine people who are genuinely emotive or passionate or excited about a particular thing that they've partaken in or they've achieved, there's a real warmth, there's a real quality to that I can identify. Now when I watch these fucking Bezos and these fucking cretins, it's ripping at them. And again, even if you take away this whole thing of the earth, right, for these people that are still adamant to live on an absurdity, you have to ask yourself the question, and the things that are going on right now in the world, you've got these fucking Muppets playing with fireworks, you know, wafting supposed billions and millions about the place for what? for an extreme fucking fairground ride. Really? Probably, Tanya. I would probably agree with that. Here. Thanks. Kaz, hello my man. I hope yous are well. Hope the weather's okay there. Of course, I mean it's the same with anybody that goes and looks at the, you know, the moon landing post-flight fucking, you know, conference or whatever the fuck. I mean, you're not watching that and genuinely thinking these people have just achieved something monumental, mind-blowing. They're nervous, shitting themselves, because they know they're having to spew utter lies about something massive. How about this tonight book you were promoting, Dale? Fuck's sake, here we go again. I'm gonna take it that you're just a fucking troll. Right? What I promote is for people to actually read things themselves. Not to listen to propaganda. Not to listen to hearsay or fear or any of that fucking shite. And just explore the content for yourself. Make your own mind up about it. Just like many literatures, there's things that I can agree with, that I can see as wisdom, and there's things that I disagree with. I'm not an advocate for anybody's philosophy. My philosophy is nobody fucking knows what our existence is. So all these philosophies are just ideas, propositions for a way of living and a way of being that for some I can see, well, that works for me, I agree with that, other things I don't, but that's all subjective. I'd imagine that's one of these fucking, what do you call them, what's that fucking Russian vids crew. Still the same shite. Every time you come I'm just gonna fucking swat you away like the wee fly that you are. Too easy. I'm a non-gender dinosaur. Exactly. Cromulin. Exactly. Well, that's it. Since he's working overtime, you're now promoting Mr. Men books. You're a Mr. Men cultist because you read it and knew you're talking about it, so you're promoting it. So you must be a shill for Mr. Men. You must be getting some money for Mr. Men books because you're talking about it. That's how these cunts operate. That's how these fruitcakes operate. That's the extent of their reasoning. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I actually love it when they come here and display how utterly helpless and stupid they actually are. It's fucking astounding. Flat Earth Terrifies YouTube is on another channel. Of Of course you control your arms and legs like the steering wheel of a car. Of course, I agree. There's aspects that you don't control. That's for me is what we should think about. What controls that? They reveal themselves with their projections, of course they do, Thomas, of course. But that's the problem. You know, once you learn how these things work, we can see that. But people are influenced by morons like that because it feeds a certain bias, it feeds a certain faulty perception, you know, where the propaganda's taking effect. Exactly, beyond belief. That's a good question, Jordan Davis. It is a very good question. One to ponder on. Something surrounds us. Something gives rise to us. Something surrounds us. Something moulds and shapes. Something is in control of the mainframe of this reality and its contents, biological life. Because none of the biological life, as I say, is actively in control of the faculties or the workings of the machine. So something's operating it. Something's dictating it. Thanks.
Welcome.
Why is the moon upside down in Australia? Love it. Absolutely love it. Hello Andrew, you hear me? You hear me, mate? Right, wait a wee minute. Andrew, can you hear me? Let me see here. So there we go. I can't show you right now because, well, I don't know if my camera is going to extend out to show, but you can see the reflection of the sun just here. The sun is just here behind my house, right? And we've got Andrew in New Zealand. With the sun well above the horizon. Now that sun's going to get more and more above Andrew's horizon in the next hour. Well, it's still going to be well above my horizon here in the west of Scotland. You get your wee globe earth out, your wee plastic toy, and have a look at it. And you tell me how you think that works on your wee globe potato rock. Andrew, hopefully you can hear me, but we can't hear anything from you. His video is going a bit haywire. I'm still screen sharing that.
Sorry, mate. Was that muted the whole time?
Ah, you are muted, mate.
All right. Okay, that's the sun.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure everyone's got a clear enough day over there to know where the sun is for them.
Yeah. a really bad connection, Andrew. I think we've got the visual that we needed just to show people. I'm just going to hang this up, mate. In fact, I'll hang it up and I'll message you. Let's see. The collar is Execrate 200, Andrew. Let me see here. I'll post it in the chat right now. Link to Andrew's channel, Execrate 200. He's going to try and get closer to the Wi-Fi. Game board of some fucking kind. Whatever this construct, this machine is, it's an elaborate, you know, construction design beyond anything that we can fathom right now. But I always think to myself, there's clues within the technology that we have right now in front of us, because anything that we produce is reverse engineered from either, you know, us as a living entity or what we witness in the world. Alright, mate, can you hear me?
Yeah, I've just got a bit closer to the Wi-Fi. Can you hear us, mate?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me just can you hear me, Andrew?
So I was just wondering if you guys could see the moon.
Fuck's sake. No. Is that it just above that house at the apex of the roof there, Andrew?
Okay, I'm sure people over there have a clear enough day to know where the sun is for them.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, it looks like I'm going to have a nice day. So I'll leave you guys to it.
Cheers, Andrew. I don't know if you can even hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you, mate.
Oh, nice one. Cheers for that, mate.
Okay, you guys.
Cheers, bud.
Later.
Exactly, Tony Dixon. Exactly. Are you having Collins? I'll check my emails in a wee second. He's upside down. Clinging to a ball, antipode to us right now. Alex Scott, well, you're, it's only because you've not paid attention. I went through a period of reading a section from the Bible and a section from that, the Satanic Bible, and making comparisons. So you're talking shit. Again, you need to look into things properly before you spout any of your assertions. So, sorry to burst your wee delusional bubble, son, but you're wrong. Right, I've got some emails here, let me see. Katie Lynch. Gates and Shaw won't be happy till we're on both knees quoting No Life's Matter. Probably. Stuart Bush. General stuff. Any chance of a link? Right, let's have a... Let's see here. Stuart Bush, that's been sent. Kate Lynch. Richard Branson was always a spacer, now he has the suit. He's an astronaut. Joyce E. I trust my God-given sense he's flat earth, but more complex than we know. Has a dome with portals. I think these are maybe known by UFOs, too many to just dismiss. Anything's possible. Again, Joyce E. Stuart Bush, I've sent you the link. James Walsh. Sun overhead in Western Canada as well. Hey Dale, if you send me a link I can jump on and show the sun in the sky right now in Canada. James Walsh. I'll just send you the same one, James. I've sent this to Stuart Bush as well, so we'll have a wee crossover here with two people coming in, but it's only for James to show us the sun in Canada. Ghostly, the stupidity knows no bounds, trust me, we've experienced it here. James, you there? Right, James is in the hangout, but I've not getting any sound from him. Just wait and see. The sequels of the Spawn of Satan. Put that on the list. Hey James, maybe you're on mute or something. I can see his avatar there, but I'm not seeing any video or sound. I mean, even with this, these rockets, you've got Neil deGrasse Tyson, the globe priest, the heliocentric priest, coming out and telling all these dipshits that even at 65 miles, because here's the thing, you know, if you draw a circle, right, and imagine the circumference of this circle is 24,000 miles, okay, so take a quarter of that, right, which is 6,000 miles, right, and then think to yourself, well, that's just a quarter, so there's my... You know, you get this of a globe Earth and you get 6,000 miles here, right? So take the scale, hang on guys, take the scale of that, right? And you're talking about 65 miles. So if you take, you know, if we get 6,000 miles here, you know, we take a sixth of that, we get 1,000 miles, right? Now, the fraction of that 1,000 miles is 65 miles in height in comparison. It's minuscule. Yeah, even at 250 miles where the supposed ISS is, and this amount of curvature that they're showing you, you should be able to realise that it's utter pish. You know, if you've got a globe that's actually got a circumference of 24,000 miles, right? And, you know, they're always showing you this kind of view of this amount of curvature as the ISS is flying at 250 miles. As I says to you, you've got 1/4 of this circle here is 6,000 miles. Right, so what's the fraction of 250 in comparison? How far are you actually seeing? How much are you actually going to see? But yet they're showing you all these depictions of extreme curvature. They're fucking retards. Right, sorry guys. James, you alright?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate.
Awesome. I'll just show you there. We have the sun here as well out on the west side of Canada. Let me see, I'll turn this shit around.
You don't sound Canadian.
I'm not, I'm Irish, but I've been here for the minute. It comes in over there in the morning, over that mountain. Comes along, and it just disappears over the back of the house there.
Yeah.
In the evening, but I mean, we have sun here the same time as everyone else apparently.
Yeah.
On this plane. But I just wanted to hop on to show you that quick.
Mm-hmm.
I missed the first while of the hangout, so
No worries.
I missed what you were chatting about in the beginning.
Aye, Andrew's in New Zealand. He was just showing that he's got the sun above his horizon there in New Zealand at the same time we still have it here in the west of Scotland.
No. Yeah, I saw that. Caught that bit at the end.
Yeah.
Dog here second it. No. He's acting up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like yous are getting half decent weather for once over there.
Aye.
I was talking to them at home and they were saying that my brother's melting. They're having a little heat wave.
Yeah.
So
It's been great. Been great. I'm not gonna complain, mate, you know.
no, there's no point in complaining.
No. Long may it continue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fucking
Absolutely.
bring on global warming all you like, you cunts.
Yeah.
Fucking soak it up.
Take a bit of global scorching.
Aye. Exactly.
But
Aye.
I guess I'll let you get back unless you've I don't know. I'm gonna have a chat about something if you're bored there, but if you want to get...
I'm easy, man. If you want to chat away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we can, what topics you're touching on today, but...
Yeah, I'm just talking about, you know, the worldwide cult and how everybody's in a cult because we don't know where we are or why we're here. So anything that you're involving yourself in, you know, is pretty much cult thinking.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just an ideology
exactly
based on stories
Yeah.
that someone else told us.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, yeah. I mean, you either know or you don't know.
That's
But
it, mate.
claiming that you know you have a grasp on it when you know it's all just a story in a book or whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
It can't be held as a fact or anything other than
No.
speculation.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. So that was pretty much it. That was the topic of my ramblings this evening, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
aye.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know where. Like the thing is, we don't know where we are. We don't know what the purpose of it is or what we're supposed to be aiming towards.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Well, that's
what do you do? What do you do other than speculate if you can't investigate it yourself and find out?
well, that's the
For
thing,
sure.
isn't it? I mean, speculating, subjectively on your own is fine, but when we start pumping that out there and
Yeah.
standing by it as a product, then we're influencing people. We're projecting ideology into the world and perpetuating the confusion. You know.
Agreed.
But
Yeah,
and that's the whole thing for me. It's like, well, we have to get people to the realisation that we don't fucking know first and foremost, and then
Yeah.
we see how we proceed from there. You know,
Yeah.
applying
No, I agree.
applying what we've been talking about, you know, in regards to language, reasoning, you know, fallacious reasoning, the use of sophistry, how to identify it, and we eradicate as much as we can, and then what we're left with is the real true position that we're in.
Yeah,
um,
and that's where we have to carry all of our, you know, investigations from that point. You know,
Yeah.
we're going to come to the realization that what we do know is limited.
Yeah.
And so all you can do is build from that, but it has to be built from, like you said, a proper foundation.
Exactly, mate.
Yeah, it's, people don't like to, it's like they don't like the ball taken away from them, or they don't like to be, people feel like they have a grasp on things and it's comfortable for them.
Yeah.
But, if you have to admit that, right, I don't really know anything about this place or about what I'm supposed to be doing,
Yeah. But that's
then
aye, and as long as people have food and shelter, they pretty much think that that's it. Well, as long as I've got that, I'm all right. So I don't really need to contemplate any further. And again, fair enough. But for people like us that ask these kind of fundamental questions, it just doesn't satisfy me.
Yeah. Me neither.
No, I can distract myself for so long, and amuse myself with any given thing. But I'm always going to come back to that. Time and time again.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, I was thinking about it the other day, and we were sitting here with the dog here, and I was thinking about it. He doesn't really try and get out, or he doesn't, have that, desire to escape.
Yeah.
Now, he did get out once or twice, and he'll go for a ramble, but, you just bring him back. And I was talking to my wife about it, and I was like, we kind of treat him like we love him, but we treat him like he's an idiot, and he couldn't survive on his own outside of, the fences here.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of thinking about, like, do the people who are pulling the strings in this place, do they really love us and they just feel sorry for us?
Yeah.
And they're just like, we can't trust them, to go here or go there or do that. They're too stupid.
Well, that's exactly what I was touching on earlier. Maybe you missed that. I was saying the exact same, mate. It's like we don't know the reasons for why any of this has been done or what triggered it. I mean, it could be done for malevolent, it could be done for benevolent reasons. We can't jump to making these assumptions, because we don't know. We
don't know exactly. Yeah, it's all I mean, I don't know. It's like it's hard to know if you break something down, like from the macro to the micro. Is it all is it the same and just in different proportions or whatever? And then in that kind of sense, if you put yourself in, or humanity in the position of the dog or the pet or whatever it is, is there something there trying to take care of us? Who knows? Or I mean, who knows? I don't know.
Exactly, mate. As I said earlier, I mean, in a psychological and emotional position, if, for say, we're in a contained system, maybe the concern was there about how we would cope with that. So they give these, outlandish stories of the possibility of exploration beyond where we are, so that it satisfies that inquirer, the inquisitive nature that we have internally, and we think it's okay because it's being done. Certain institutions are endeavouring to explore and get out there, and that kind of appeases us because there's a faction of us that are actually, supposedly exploring the outer reaches. I mean, again, it's all speculation, mate, isn't it? It's But the beauty is not to box ourselves in and making the assumption that we know the reasons. That's but we're falling into the same trap again there.
Yeah, you always have to come back to that, foundation that you were talking about, saying, you don't know.
Yeah.
We can find things out, and we may eventually know things for certain. Like if we do get to explore, say we do come to, whatever it is, some sort of containment, at least then we can verify it and say, right, well, this is this is as far as we can go, and then you can keep going from there and trying to piece everything together. But
aye, and if we're contained here, then let's make a better fucking experience then. Let's fucking endeavour to make it a better fucking ride, a better place to be, or You know, whatever.
100%. Yeah, and I mean, people have the ability to figure things out, and if there's a better way, there's a better way.
Yeah.
You know, people just have to remove all of their, you know, programming and conditioning, thinking, well, you know, our parents did this and our grandparents did this, and so that's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have. It's the way it is because people accept it.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. And that's the thing,
You know,
isn't it? It's that tie to patriotic type thinking that, well, my grandfather done this, so it makes me proud to walk in my grandfather's shoes. And well, I mean, these are just narratives again. These stories, these ideas that we attach to that then limit and restrict us. You know,
Yeah.
That's we're creating our own entrapment, if you like, by you know.
Yeah, agreed. It's like, you know, kids. Some kids will be, you know, drawn to whatever superhero it is, and they, you know, that grabs their imagination, and they, you know, so you see people who maybe watched Star Wars or some shit when they were 7 or 8 years old, and they're going around in their 40s wearing fucking, you know, suits at conventions and all this shit, and you're like,
Yeah.
if you can't let go of something, you know, you can never move past it, or you can never,
No.
you know, head in the right direction.
Exactly. You're boxing yourself into a false certainty just because
Yeah.
you're insecure. You're scared of the unknown. You know. So
Yeah.
you know, human beings seem to have that propensity to formulate these notions of certainty by grasping onto these ideas. You know, Star Wars or fucking whatever. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's all, I mean, it can, and the thing about it is, it's the easiest thing to just, you know, just to take a step back from it and look at everything and see the, you know, see all the places where there's, you know, fallacious reasoning behind all of it, and, you know, where the problems lie with it.
Yeah.
But if you know, if it's in your head and it's, you don't want to let it go, and it's just this belief that you can't, you know, you just can't loosen your grip on it, then you're stuck. You're bollocks, you know.
And we see that so many times when you see people that have these blind beliefs, and then you try and reason with them, and that's when it becomes apparent to that individual that they're holding on to these things without any solid foundation. I mean, the amount that times I've seen that in the street interviews is staggering. You know, people who are going to stand there and defend a belief that they don't even fully comprehend. Do you know what I mean? It boggles my mind that they're going to stand there and defend that based on an emotional reason, you know, because it's not an intellectual reason. It's not something that they actually know, you know.
No, I was thinking about that yesterday. I was thinking to myself, I was like, because before I, you know, realised all this stuff about the shape of the earth, and I believed that it was a globe, and, you know, and in my mind, it was almost like you're trying to put yourself on a pedestal, you know, as part of this group of, you know, elite humans who understand things that, you know, back in the day they thought the earth was flat and they were all a bit brain dead and this sort of stuff. And it's kind of, it's giving your ego this false sense of whatever, you know, that it's above, you know, but it's all just bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, once you break it down, and if you can, but you have to be able to have some, you know, you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to say, right, I don't know, let me just find out as much as I can find out about it, and see if I can, you know, get clued in a bit better one way or the other. But if you can't get to that point where you have a bit of you know, intellectual honesty about it, then you're screwed, you know.
Of course, mate, of course. And it's an internal battle as well. You know, you always have to be cautious of your own biases, or, you know, how you may be feeling, how things can influence you. You can adopt something that can send you on a tangent of you know, bewilderment, and it's still the same for me. You know, you get better and better the older you get. You know, when you catch yourself on and realise what games you're playing with yourself, and that's what I always say to people. The most important thing is that you're brutally honest with you. First and foremost, before you go looking externally, it comes down to you. You know, are you bullshitting yourself? Have you got the ability to look in the mirror and be fucking brutally honest with yourself? You know, if you don't have that, then fuck it. You might as well just pick up one of these ideas and delude yourself for the rest of your life, you know?
Yeah, agreed. And I mean, you know, when you get into the whole, you know, whether it was 9/11 or whatever, out of these things that got people into it in the beginning, and you'll always have another rabbit hole to go into. There's always some other thing, or there's always something.
Yeah.
And you can, you know, you could spend the next 1,000 years going down these rabbit holes, but
Aye.
like you said, you have to be able to give yourself that, you know.
Well, that's the problem. You know, it's with things that we cannot experience directly. All you have is information, stories. So the only thing that I can do with things like that is compare the stories and look for contradictions, and see what I can glean from that. You know, but again, I still wouldn't resolve anything and have any closure, because if it's out with my experience, if I wasn't there, you know, I wasn't part of the whole sequence of events and circumstance, then what am I even looking at it for? What am I trying to get from it, you know? So.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, there's so much information now, and it's like, if you have to be able to filter it out. You know, you have to be able to filter, like, you know, you might go on, like you were saying about the, you know, either the Bible or the Satanic, whatever, if it's, I don't know, Satanic Bible or whatever. I remember when you were reading them, and I remember thinking to myself, you know, the Bible sounds it's very cryptic, or, you know, I don't know if you'd have to have an idea of what context they were writing it in when it was written.
Yeah.
Now, there may be some, you know, on some level there may be some truth to it, or whether it's an allegory or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you don't know, you know, the context that it was written in, then it's all speculation. You can make anything sound like it was, you know, good, bad, or indifferent. But with the Satanic Bible, there was actually, like, a lot of the information made logical sense. Like, you could follow it, you know, or you could, you know, on some level agree with some of the statements made.
Yeah.
Now, not all of it. I mean, same with anything. You can take and leave, you know, certain parts of anything, but you have to be able to filter it. I think being able to filter things is the...
But that's the problem with propaganda. People are scared to investigate or look at these things, and again, even when people like us talk about these things, now people are going to probably say, you're a Satanist and you promote it. And again, this is the problem with people, because they don't realise that people like us can entertain these philosophies, these ideas and concepts. We can analyse them, we can discuss them, we can say, well, I see sense in that and I don't see sense in that. But again, that doesn't mean to say that I'm an advocate for any...
not jumping on the bandwagon.
Exactly. Everybody's trying to pigeonhole everybody else into a set, you know, solid foundation, that you're a Satanist and I'm a Catholic and that you're a... No, I entertain all, you know, literature and philosophies, and I have a look at every one of them, and just as you say, I'll agree with certain parts and I'll disagree with other parts, but I'm also aware that a lot of that's in my own subjective preference. You know, when we're talking about these things, when we're talking about a way of living and a way of being, we're talking about subjectivity. We're not talking about objective, you know. So it's all subject to everybody's interpretation and everybody's personal preferences based on who you are. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it, exactly. And it's like you said, the only thing that we have that we can know for sure is things that we can prove objectively.
Yeah.
Other than that, you know, it's, you know, one person's idea of a great life, someone else might think, oh, that's a wasted life. It's, you know, that's subjective. It's not, you know, rooted in anything.
No.
So,
no. And that's
we just have to stick to what we can prove and verify for ourselves, and that comes to the same with, you know, understanding where we are and what we're on or whatever it is. We have to be able to physically verify all these things. Of
course.
And until then, we don't know.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
So,
aye, good.
It's getting there. That's the, you know, that's the struggle.
Exactly, mate. And you know yourself, you have to indulge in some of these, you know, aspects of living and being, because you would just drive yourself insane. Sitting static, you know, sitting waiting and contemplating, you know, so you have to indulge. And I get some satisfaction out of some of my indulgences, like, you know, spending time with the kids, the family, like, going a walk with a dog or going out on my motorbike. I can indulge in some of these thrills and experiences, but you know, I never delude myself into thinking that it's related to the bigger picture or any of that.
Yeah.
I always bring myself back to that point, you know. Don't really know what's happening here.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's it. That's the fact of the matter is that we don't know. And anything else is just a temporary distraction. I
Exactly.
was out on the bike this morning.
Nice.
It was nice, but you come back and you're still in the same
Exactly.
situation you were in when you left.
Right. That's it, mate. That's it. Temporary distractions is the only thing that's there. You know.
That's it.
Waiting.
And that's what I was thinking about too. Like, you know, you have the dog here and you don't want it to get out. You toss a pig's ear or something, you know, to keep it amused. But
Yeah.
it's the same thing with humans. Like
Yeah.
if we're being corralled or, you know, whatever,
Yeah.
kept within our, you know, designated area that we're allowed to
Yeah.
explore or whatever and be in, you know, if you just toss them a, you know, Super Bowl or whatever, you know,
Exactly.
whatever crap that is going to keep them amused and
Yeah.
not asking any questions. But
That's it, mate.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so hard to know. Like, what all you can do is just keep plugging away, doing what you're doing, and trying to, you know, plant seeds for other people. Because, and the weird thing is, I feel like it's all at this stage. It's so obvious.
Yeah.
Like, it's so obvious what's going on. You know, as far as, you know, the government, they can't like. You could hardly say they're trying to hide anything, because if you look for information, it's all there.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
it's all there, where hidden in plain sight or whatever you want to call it. I don't even, you know, some of the movies and stuff from back in the day, you're looking at it and you're going like, they're
Aye.
putting everything up there for everyone to see. You know,
Well, that's
so,
it. But unless you've got the awareness of the tools and the methods that are used, you're never going to see it.
yeah. And that's all you can do is try and instill those values into people.
Exactly.
You know, just like with your own kids or with your own, you know, people you're around. But I mean, again, it's an impossibility to try and, you know, like you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it.
No.
And it's the same thing. It doesn't matter what information or, you know, you give to someone, if they're not open to it, that's it.
Exactly. And that's part of the skill is trying to recognise and having the ability to recognise people who are looking and asking that kind of question. And you pick a knack up for that. You can speak to somebody for a couple of minutes and you can get a gauge on them where you think, well, it's worthwhile maybe opening that conversation up here or trying to trigger the thought, you know. Where a lot of people just run about blindly thinking I'm going to save everybody and I'm going to wake everybody up, and it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work. Well, I like watching the street interviews that you do, because a lot of the time it'll give you a good angle to approach it with your own friends or whoever you're with, you know.
Yeah.
It seems to work. Like a lot of the time you'll have, like, you've had some real good interviews with people who've, you know, it helps if they're open, or, you know, at least not, you know, like if you're someone that's shut down completely, you know, you just knock it on the head and move on. But
Exactly.
if you have someone who's, you know, potentially open to it, you know, you can lead them, you know, and you lead people real well towards the realizations. But it has to be a self-realization. But you can certainly, you know, point them in the right direction.
Yeah.
So that they can come to the conclusion and understand it themselves, which is key.
But it's the only way, isn't it? It's, you know, it's without the self-realization, it's pointless.
Yeah, otherwise it's just another story you either believe or don't believe.
And they'll never you know, grab onto it. They might ponder on it for a wee while and then it'll just dissipate.
Yeah.
And they'll forget about it, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it's definitely, it has to be an individual understanding. You know, you have to come to it yourself and know. Like it's a knowing rather than a belief. Like the belief is useless to you.
Of course, mate. Exactly. Let me just see. I don't know if this is the true Stuart James Bush. I'm gonna stop screen sharing here a wee second and let this person in, just in case it's a
No
pawn,
worries.
a pawn bomber.
Yeah.
Stuart, Stuart, you need to shut off YouTube.
I'm gonna do it now.
Well, we can let you talk to Stuart there if you want.
No worries, James, you're welcome to sit in if you want, mate. I mean, don't feel as if you need
Yeah, alright, well, I don't mind, and maybe I'll hang out just in case
No
there's
worries.
anything out.
to. Stuart,
Are you alright?
how's it going?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good, Del. Are you alright, James?
I'm good, bud, I'm good. You?
God, it's a bit. No, just what I was going to start with something else, but what James just said. All the information's out there now, and it's up to people to decide what's true and what's not. And to me, it's just the wheat and the tares. The dividing's happening now,
Yeah.
and you either love the truth or you don't.
Exactly, mate.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what's happening, Del, and that's what's happening for me. I used to be a Catholic. I'm not a Catholic now because I read the Bible. But I think there's just a massive divide happening now about the people who love the truth or they don't love it. Because when you present the truth to someone, it's true. You can't deny it.
Yeah.
Which is what the earth is.
Well, that seems like part of the deliberate aspects where they've saturated, the use of media with subjectivity, and dividing people against each other based on their subjective preferences and beliefs, and that's what we're seeing every single day now.
It's just my opinion. I think that they had to bring the earth out and the truth about it to see how many people would accept the truth.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion on it. I don't know if you've been watching them protests in London today.
No, I've not seen anything.
Have you not seen them? All the massive. And the people who are videoing it are shills. But one of them called Resistance GB as he's videoing it. These two guys got into his car, onto his camera. And the next minute he started going on about the flat earth and was knocking me off. And he was like, oh. And he said, "You're full of shit, you mate. You're full of shit because you won't acknowledge that the Earth's it's not flat.
Yeah.
It's that it's not moving. It's not moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I personally, Dad, I've told you this before. You're doing a great job because you're like the strong man. You're holding the door wide open to the truth for everyone who's looking for the truth.
Yeah.
And even if we've got differences on what we believe in, on where we go after there, that don't matter. You're literally holding the door. They must hate you, mate, because you're holding the door open big time to the truth.
Well, on YouTube maybe, mate, but again, there's many people out there that are just the same and that are representing the truth. I'm just one guy and I happen to be on YouTube and I've got some subscribers and whatever else, so,
Yeah. I don't know anyone else's. Honestly, I'm not. The other people who I could name now, you can prove that they're dishonest.
Right, well, that's it, mate. There's many out there,
There's a reason that you're not on the TV telling them, giving them advice on stuff. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason to that. Like Dave Murphy. You know Dave Murphy, the black guy.
Yeah.
He throws truth bomb after truth bomb at everyone. Boom, boom, boom. And I watched a video of him the other year, and he tried to convince everyone that Jesus is Zeus. And that's game over for me. He's a fucking liar. The Manchester guy near me with a beard, who's got the song that they're all using at the marches. He's the same.
Yeah.
You're the only one, Del, even though we disagree with Jesus and stuff like that, who is, I know for a fact you're 100% genuine.
Nice one.
And you're fighting for the truth, but the what popped to mind with me, Del, what job you've got is, you know, like, is it the Paris in World War II when they landed on that bridge in the Netherlands, and they had to hold the bridge, Del, but they ended up getting killed. That's what I feel your job is. You've got to now, mate, and you're keeping the truth coming, and they don't like it, and I hope you keep going because I love it.
Aye, well, as I always say, mate, I'm not going anywhere, and
I know.
And I appreciate acknowledgement of my efforts and stuff, but I'm always going to play doing any sort of praise or
Yeah, I'm not praising you. I'm not trying to get on the right side of you, mate. Honestly, I'm just. It can get disheartening, can't it? Because I'm pissed off now. I've had enough. There's no one else left to talk to about anything.
No, mate, it's hard.
We're quite close to the end of this now because you've got the people who know the truth about everything.
Yeah.
And you've got the people who don't know the truth, who don't want to know the truth. Yeah. And there's a fraction in the middle that can still be saved, but it's close now. There's a climax coming here, mate. There's a climax.
Well, I agree. I feel that myself. I can't pinpoint it, but it feels to me that we're building to some sort of climax. But I'm always sceptical, as I've said before. I feel like they're going to disband a lot of this, and a better way of life's going to be offered, and people are going to. Yeah.
Well, there's a false awakening coming.
Yeah.
And you've said something a few weeks ago. Listen, I'm not gonna try and bash you with the Bible.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like you mentioned one thing. You said you don't agree with this. Jesus said, "Turn the other cheek," and that.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't. If you read it in context, he had a mission to do, and he told him to turn the other cheek, as in, don't ruin this mission. Yeah. I've got to be killed to carry out the job I'm doing. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
He was telling him at that point, fucking don't fight on my behalf because what's got to be done's got to be done.
Yeah.
You Google, I don't know the verse off the top yet because every time I try and do two things at once, it's thrown me off. Like you don't want me to tell you. He also said, now's the time to sell your cloak and your purse and buy a sword.
Yeah.
So he weren't some sort of pussy who they painted him out to be, these Romans that Caesar's nephew, whoever it is, that picture.
Yeah.
He told us that when he's died, when he was killed, after that you need to buy a sword and defend yourself.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. I don't want to turn the other cheek, Del. They're fucking winding me up.
Yeah.
That's the bad thing about it.
Exactly.
It's like, you can't do it about it. You just sat waiting for him. It's fucking horrible.
I know, mate. I know, just waiting for the next move.
Way to put it across, it really winds me up. I've got a little as well. I was up in Scotland not long ago. I'd love to come see you, mate. If I get the chance to come through again, I'll come see you with me, lad.
Anytime, mate. Anytime.
But the only reason I know what it said, the Catholic Church and all that, Del, they're bad people. They're bad people.
Fuck, you only need to Google some of the images. Have you seen that fucking throne that cunt sits on?
Can I just say one thing as well with my Irish brother here, and you, I know, was a Celtic fan, Catholic. I'm Catholic. My nan was Irish. My great grand. I was, so I'm not having a pop.
No.
It's just I found it out. That Pope and that is a bad man.
Aye. I mean, anybody that's there right now, Google Vatican throne.
Throne auditorium.
Aye, and tell me that you think that's fucking holy, good, spiritual shit. I mean, it's a horror show. I mean, have you seen it, James? You know what I'm talking about.
They put the tube. Oh, God.
Oh, you're already going there. I'm going to pull up a picture of this throne.
I'm just laughing because us three here are all Catholics, ex-Catholics.
I was never a Catholic or anything like that. No.
Oh, wait, your own fault. You said you was a Celtic fan. I thought you was Catholic.
No, mate, no.
But
if it makes you feel any better, you're not on your own.
All you have to do is put a picture of the devil on front of that throne, and you've got a film.
Exactly.
Yeah, fuck.
You got it, James. You
Jesus, it's something else, alright.
Right.
Hell.
Right.
How does he even get into the thing? You need a step ladder to get up to it.
Is that you got the right one? Let me see if you got
I
the
think
right.
so, it's this yoke here.
No, that's not the one I'm talking about.
There's
No,
a
that's
worse
the
one than that.
Aye, there's a worse one than that, mate. It's a big fucking thing that stretches across the whole stage.
I've shown people who don't believe anything the other day at work. I said, just look at this, because if you can see what this is, you've got a chance.
Yeah.
And if you can't see what this is, you're fucked.
Aye.
And straight away, a couple of lads went, it's a snake.
Yeah, that's the building. You talking about the new building?
The auditorium.
Aye,
So,
that's
but-
right. Not James. James, put in Vatican statue.
1 second there now.
You're not about the actual altar thing where the Pope sits.
Aye, he sits in front of this thing and it's like a fucking.
Yeah, it's called Jesus melted in a nuclear blast, isn't it?
Is that what it's called? Is it?
Yeah. Jesus escaping from a nuclear blast.
For fuck's sake.
All I say is that everyone who loves the truth and everyone who knows the flat earth isn't moving is gonna be alright.
Yeah,
There's just different roads we're taking to where we're going.
that's it, mate.
It is, because if you love the truth will set you free.
That's it. There only is one. Then nobody owns it. You can only realise it. You know.
Yeah. It's obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you know, I wanted to say that to you, Del, where you had your mate calling you in from New Zealand.
Aye.
Why don't you get like so many people, pick 3-4 points in the world and do a live in and let's see who we can all see the sun at the same time and we can all see the moon.
Yeah. Well, I need people to contact me to let me know their position and.
That's what I'm saying. So you've got your mate here in Canada, New Zealand, and if you're looking at a globe, it's impossible to see all these things at once.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. You found that yet, James?
I've got a bunch of statues, but I don't have any.
It's like a fucking. It's
Google it. Jesus escaping, nuclear blast, Vatican auditorium. That'll be it.
Aye.
It's called that. It's not me like exaggerating. It's called Jesus escaping a nuclear blast. And if you look at his head from behind, it's a 666.
That's incredible.
The truth that, without getting dead light over the top, the truth, what James said is this, and I agree with 100%. The truth is now right out there in front of all our faces. And you either decide it's true or you don't. There's no middle ground. There's no grey area that we can all go into.
No.
There's the truth and there's the lies.
That's it. You found it yet?
Is it this big giant thing that like?
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Beautiful, isn't it? Fucking hell. Oh yeah. Let's go worship over here.
Exactly.
This feels like it's the right place to be.
Remember that film about Al Pacino in the Devil film?
Aye, that's right.
You could see him sat in front of that, couldn't you?
Exactly. Aye.
Oh, beautiful.
Alright. Amazing stuff. Listen, guys, this has been great, but I need to get off. I'm hungry.
No
worries.
Thanks for all you, Del. Thanks for all the work you're doing, mate. I love it. It's great, and the interviews you do, they're brilliant.
Oh, nice one, Stuart. Appreciated.
They're absolutely brilliant. They do like give you a boost because it's crap at the minute, mate. Everything's crap. But if you just see a couple of people who wake up, it's ace.
Aye.
Yeah, I think it makes a big difference. You know, like Stuart was saying, you know, you'll get people who'll, you know, like Dave, he'll say, you know, a bunch of good stuff and then he'll come out with some crazy thing.
That's what they do it.
And I think that's what, you know, the best thing about Del is he just sticks to, you know, objective reality.
Yeah.
Other than, if it's anything outside of that, he's upfront about it, says, look, this is just, you know, having a little think about it and talking out loud, you know, thinking out loud. It's just speculation. None of it is, you know, and that's the difference. Is you keep things objective
Exactly.
and keep the subjective stuff for discussion whenever.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
And
that's
premising.
what we need more of.
Exactly, disclosing that to people that's exactly what you're doing, rather than trying to come across as some fucking guru with definite answers and these are firm statements. So I totally agree, mate.
Agreed. All right, well, we'll let you get on with it, Del.
Nice
before
one.
the sun disappears on you.
Aye, cheers, guys. It was a
All
pleasure.
right. Take it easy, Stuart.
Cheers, James, mate. Nice one.
Yeah, nice to chat to you. Take it easy.
See you soon, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Right, if I've got a couple of people there. David Ash and Pico. Oh fuck! Link for Melbourne Sun when it gets here. Sorry, mate. I'm going to be getting off. But as we were talking about there, we'll need to arrange it. And get your position. I'm not sure where Mero is. Again, I don't know if he's near where you are. But with him before, having the sun in view as well. So if we can get a few more of that would be excellent. So we'll look forward to that. Just a quick 5 minutes here with the chat box. Nice one, Pico, 250. It's still here, Andrew. I mean, it's still there. I'm not sure exactly the position yet, but it's still there. I mean, we're still in daylight here. I think Merrill might be from Melbourne, but I'm pretty sure he moved. Nick and Phuket as well. I've not seen Nick about for a while, to be honest with you. I think he's busy tending to other aspects of his life, maybe. Unless I've missed. I'll need to check the channel. Melbourne Boris Chops, you're not in Melbourne, are you? It's way up there, Andrew. This is the thing, we can get the angles above, anybody's horizon and compare them. I know it's been done. I remember back in the day Antonio Subarats and his Book of the Sun. I've not actually got into that yet, but I'm pretty sure there's aspects of sun observation within that. But again, it's just like everything else. We need to encourage everybody to take part in these things, and or else they don't really know. Reading it from somebody else is one thing, but experiencing it for yourself is a total other. Darton, Essex. No story now, you're in New Zealand, that's right. Or are you? I know you went to Thailand, but I'm not sure if you moved there or... I know, Magumba. We need to get it done before we get the fucking uniform grey blanket back here. It's been missing for the last 2 weeks, so I'm dreading the possibility of a severe punishment. 4 months solid grey sky. But I always said they're not going to get away with pushing their climate change shite unless, places like this get better weather and extreme heat. Hopefully, there's talk of August, we get extreme weather again, some sun and dryness. It'd be fucking great. Long time coming. No, I know it'll be back waking up to truth. I fucking know. Telling you, if I had my way, right, my perfect utopia would be that I would just chase the sun about. I would stay here spring and summer, and then I would fuck off and go and visit Andrew and have spring and summer, and then I would come back and have spring and summer, and just perpetual spring and summer. Fuck all that autumn and winter shite. I don't need that. Right, I'm going to go. It's been a pleasure. Take care of yourselves, people, and I'll see you very soon.